So far I only have my table. So what we could do is, so let's insert a user, basically. So insert into users. Let's say so far my table will let me even insert, I think, empty rows. But let's say I want to only insert the age. So I'm going to insert the age, and the values that I want to put, let's say, is just 25, like this. So if we run this, let's do psql-f. We see that there was an insert made, and it's this one. What do you think the value? So we just inserted the age. What do you think the value for the name will be? So currently there is like one user register in my database. It has an ID of 1. It has age 25. What do you think the name is? Peter? Undefined. That's a good guess. Any others?
I'll say no.
No? Any other ideas? Cool. Let's look at it. So I'm going to connect to my database. See Facebook TV. And then let's do select star from users. And we have that the users database, the users table has a user with ID 1 and name empty and age 25. So to Peter's point, there is no undefined in Postgres. Undefined is JavaScript will be only. For Postgres, they use more null for that kind of stuff. But I'm just not remembering if this is actually null. So let's try to do this. What if we do select from users where name is equal to null? So what I'm doing here is I want to assess if this value here is sort of maybe an empty string or something, or null. So let's see if it's null. If this gives us a result, which it didn't, then we know that this here is not null. This here is just an empty string. Let's try this. Maybe if we do this, oh, then that's not even that. So let's see. Empty field Postgres. Select empty field. So let's see what it is. Where name equal to empty string. Or let's check this. Yes. I'm not streaming, but I'm recording. Yeah. Let's see if we do where name is empty string. Try this. What do we do where name is not empty string? Okay, so I'll need to look back and check. Oh, I think maybe it's like this. It's no. Yes, okay. So I was checking, I was trying to do it with the equal. So I was trying to do select star from users where name equals null. Turns out that for some reason we cannot do the equal comparison with the equal mathematical operator with null. We'll need to do name is null instead. So okay, so then it is this value here is null. Just that when we print it, the database shows it as an empty space, basically empty value.
Hey guys, did anybody not get a MetroCard that was planning on getting a MetroCard?
Thank you for checking in.
Great guys.
Thank you. So let's see. Postgres. A question that might come up is Postgres is null versus equal null. That's it. It seems to be a long story. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you check that later, but just know that when I don't specify a value to be inserted in a column, that value will receive null by default. And if you want to get that, if you want to sort of check where, let's say you want to get all the rows where the user didn't specify an age or an email, you'll need to do it like this, where name is null. So the lessons here is when we don't specify the other value for the other column, it will receive a null by default. Yes?
What if you do where ID is 1?
So that will give us, you mean is with this one or equal?
Equal, where ID is the table.
Where ID is equal. So that will work as well.
But it won't tell you anything specific about it not having a name.
That's correct. So yeah, this what I was trying to assess here was I didn't remember if an empty when you don't specify the value for a column, it becomes empty string or if it becomes null. Now we verified that it becomes null because when we do select star from users where name is null, we get that same result. But when we specify select star from user where name is empty string, we got nothing. Yeah. Cool. So that's that. You can specify default values though. If we can add a table constraint here. Let's say that for some reason we're building a social network and the users or the creation of a username, or in this case the name is optional. Let's say all of them get a default name. Or let's do maybe with the age. So let's do this. So I'm gonna specify, what happens if then I try to do an insert like this with no columns specified, no values specified. Thumbs up is to say it's gonna break. It's gonna be an error. Fatal insertion cannot be done. And thumbs down, you say it's gonna put null for the name and null for the age. Okay, where's everybody else? Let's try it. We got an error. Cannot insert into. Oh, thank you. Still got the same error. So if we want to insert something, we better insert something, right? If we want to insert something, there is no way to insert. Well, I guess if we specify that we explicitly want the age to be null and the name to be null, right? If we want to insert for some reason an empty row, we could have it so that the name is null and the input is null. Cool. So let's prevent. Yes.
If you insert it in terminal, will it stay there, like for real?
Yes.
Because when
Yes.
you run a PSQL, you have only drop.
Oh yes. So when I'm running the SQL file with PSQL, the database is being dropped and with it all the data. But here I'm not dropping anything yet. But if I run that file again, then my data, the one that I inserted here, is gonna be gone.
So is this like a good way to add things? I know like you showed in practice, the best practice to add this way or in the SQL file?
In the SQL file, this is for sort of like when you want to check something quick. Yeah. I think I saw another hand around here. Cool. So let's say we want to constrain our table so that. Oh yes, Hugo.
When you insert into like something, you have to specify the columns or can you put it in the values?
Oh, good question. So the question Hugo is asking, do we need to specify the columns that we want to insert to? The question is, the answer is yes. If we try to do something like this, name still asking me for the columns. Let's see if we can do this. So the first one failed, asking sort of for columns to make the insert to. What if we get rid of that? Still fails. So you will need to specify the columns that you want to make the insert for. So a constraint that was in the lesson but we didn't get to explore was the Not Know Constraint. So let's look at that. So let's say a user cannot register to our app if they don't specify the age. Right? So what we could do that after specifying the type of that column, you could just say not know. So this will add the constraint so that if we try to insert something that is null, or basically we don't specify the value for that column, we get an error. And the database will not let us to insert that. So I'm gonna run my SQL file. An insert was made. Now let's go to our database. Select start from users. And we have, well, the name is null. Now let's try to insert, the name is allowed to be null because we don't have that constraint on the name column, right? Let's try to insert something where we only insert name. name values. Let's try this. Trying to insert only the name. Single quotes. Don't forget the single quotes for strings. Then we have this error that says null value in column age violates not know constraint. So this is how you can prevent a user, for instance, of not specifying an email or not specifying a telephone number if that's what you require. This could be a way to handle that. Right? Because it even says the following row would contain 2 as the ID, my name as the name, and null as the age. But this query didn't really go through because the age we had specified the constraint to not be null. Cool. So those are some of the not null. We created this. So who can share what references users ID mean? Maybe somebody in the back. Sure.
We can point at the user's column ID, the current user ID.
One more time.
We point at the user's ID column.
Right. So I think what Sharar is saying is this is sort of pointing to the users table ID column, and that is correct. If we go to the diagram that we have, that references to is what makes this connection for there to. This is, it sort of makes this connection between a post here, where the poster ID references the user's ID. Right. Why would we want that? Why would we want that constraint saying that? Hubel?
Can it kind of be used as like an identifier that kind of link the two tables?
That is correct. It is an identifier to sort of link the two tables, but why would we want that? Joanne? And why would we want to keep track? Hubel?
To kind of organize information.
Yes. Yes. So, but what if I guess the question will be, can something that is not a user, or can a post belong to anything else? Or can anything else create a post? Right? So we want that constraint because we want only users to create posts, or we want posts to belong to users. Imagine if you could see, like on a social network, a post that is not associated with anyone, not even an ad, right? So yes, this constraint is for making that connection, for instance, ensuring that a post belongs to a user. Yeah. Questions or comments regarding the references? We're going to see that sort of tied to that, we have the undelete cascade next. Cool, so we inserted some data. These are some of the posts that I inserted. You might have something different. Maybe you did all the, so here I sort of broke it down into the three posts for user one, basically. So these are, as I said, on the second point, I think, that a user, at least one user, should have 3 posts. So this is the way that I did that. So insert into post, poster ID, and body. This was for user 1, which is the nearest Targaryen. And she made sort of these 3 posts, right? So that's that, and then after that I did the insert for the other 2 users. Inserting into posts, this is a post from, I think, Jon Snow. This is Arya Stark. 4 is Bran Stark. And 5 is Jaime Lannister. So these are their posts. 1 for each one. I didn't do it. If you did more than 1 for some of them, that's fine too. Now for the likes, we had to do something like this, where here is, user ID 1 likes all the other users' posts. So here, the liker ID is the first value, and the liker ID will be 1, and all other users' posts. So, and here, I didn't mention that are all the other users' posts without, not including their own. If you included their own, that's fine too. So here is user 1 is liking post 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are the other users' posts. Okay? Questions so far about these inserts? So this is user ID. User with ID 2 likes only her own post. So user with ID 2 made a post 4 and they like that post. And only that one. Here is users 2 and 1 posts are liked by user 3. So this was how do you go about doing this one? But then you needed to identify what the posts of user 2 were and the posts of user 1 were, right? So for me, user 1 had the first 3 posts. So user 3 likes post 1, post 2, and post 3, and user 2 only posted 1, which is 4. You might have something different. That's fine. This one's the user 4 likes all posts except her own and users 1. In my case, user 1 had the first 3 posts. We can see that 1, 2, and 3 are not here because those are post 1. Post 4, user 4 posted, I think, 6. User 4 posted the post with ID 6, but he or she likes post with ID 4, which is her own. No, is it her own? No, it's not her own.
It'd be 5, 6,
6 is her own, I think. Let's look at it here. So this is 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, the 6th post is her own or his own. They don't like that one. They like all the others. All the posts of users 1, 2, and 3 are liked by user 5. So this one was liker ID all 5, and then posts of user 1 are 1, 2, and 3. Post of user 2 is 4. Post of user 3 is 5. Cool. Questions about the inserts before we move to the updates? Yes.
What were you able to do? Is there a way to do it all in one insert? Or
Yes, you could have done it all in one. Yeah. Just it was gonna be a really long a really long list or whatever whichever way you organize it. I think you did. You did.
I did mine all in one. I put all for one on one line and then.
So what Hube has is just one insert into, and then a bunch of parentheses with two values in. Yeah, but only one insert into, and then values he has quite a bit because they're quite a bit. Yeah. If you do it like that, that's fine too. Cool. So let's look at the updates. Update, they use the age of user with ID 1 to be 31. This one was pretty straightforward. Update users, set age to 31, where the ID is equal to 5. I had this query here to sort of verify if the age has changed. You don't need this. This is update the name of user 3 to Alfred. Update users, set name to Alfred, where the ID is 3. And then we start getting into the most interesting ones. Question about these two updates.
So you're selecting from the user statement where ID is equal to
Yes, I wouldn't say selecting, I would say updating because that's the main thing we want to do. But yes.
selecting from the first and then you update.
Oh, you mean this one? Oh, this was just to verify that it really changed. So this is sort of a test that I did to verify that it really changed it. Yeah. This step is not really necessary. Yeah. Cool. So let's look at this one. User 1 stops liking users 2 posts. So how would you go about this one? How did you go about this one, actually? Brianna? You use the nested select? Cool, let's look at that. So first, I guess, let's take a look at the tables. Oh wait, I think I haven't uncommented the insert and the update. So let me just run this SQL file. And then let's look at the likes table. Oops. Select star from likes. And I'm not in PSQL. So this is what the likes table looks like. Just a bunch of numbers. That if we don't have this, if we don't have the column names, we don't know what they mean. Right? So here, let's look at what we wanted to do here. So we wanted to find what like is the user 1 liking, and then sort of unlike it or remove it, right? So let's look at, so here we know that user 1 is liking users 2 posts. So let's look at liker ID. Liker ID is 2. And if we go to the post table, we'll see that the users 2 post is post with ID 4. So here we see that users 2 only likes 1 post. User 2 only likes the fourth post, and that post, no, sorry, user 1 stops liking users 2. So user one is liking all these posts. Yes. Okay. So user one is liking all these posts, right? User 1 likes posts 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we need to find what is users 2 post. So if we go to the insert, we can find it here. Users 2 post is 4 because we have 1 here, 2, 3, 4. So if you did something like that, that's fine. So we know that then it's this one that we want to remove, where user 1 wants to stop liking users 2 post, and users 2 post is post with ID 4. So this is the one that we want to remove. So once with that in mind, then Brianna, so how could we do that?
Delete from likes,
Uh-huh.
where liker ID equals 1, H and
So you have select.
you forgot an A, but it's okay.
Oh.
After the I. So delete from likes, where liker ID equals 1, and post ID equals
So let's break this down a little bit. And
post ID equals, and then in parentheses, select ID from posts, where poster ID equals 2.
where poster ID
Equals 2.
cool. So let's think. So what is this doing? If you could walk us through what this query is doing, or how is it? How do you explain like this query?
So since it's, I remember from the SQLC, the nested one, it does the nested first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's selecting the ID from post. So all the everywhere where the poster ID is 2, selecting that ID,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes to the outside, and it deletes from likes where the liker ID is 1 and the post ID is 2.
Great. Yes, that's correct. So this will do the inner query first. So let's run the inner query here. See what we get. So this is select ID from post where poster ID 2. We get post with ID 4. So we're sort of taking out this 4 and going to the outer query and say delete from likes where liker ID is 1 and post ID is equal to 4. So if we execute this now, then we just execute it entirely here, copy from here and paste it. We see that there's one delete that was made. If we go to select star from likes again, we see that user 1 no longer likes user post 4, which was users 2 post. Cool. If you did it with just by looking at the table and you found whatever ID was users 2 post and just plugged it in here, that's fine too. This one is pretty slick with the inner query. I guess here, sort of something worth noting is that if user 1 likes more than one user's 2 posts, then all those will be unlike 2.
But that would answer the question. It says it stops liking their posts.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that will be up for the interpretation of the question, since it was not very clear in here. These two are good accepted ways. Yeah. This is another approach, sort of like, where did I go? Where did I go? So this was like, my initial approach was find the post ID of that user, of users to post, and then just plug it in here. Then Janesh asked me about if it was possible to have a delete with a join table. And we were exploring this one, which I also saw sort of for the first time. Delete from likes. And this is sort of abbreviating, changing the name of likes to just TL to abbreviate. Using post, and sort of here the same thing, abbreviating the name of post to be TP, where TL.liker ID saying the TL table, which is the likes table, liker ID column equal 1, and the poster ID equal 2. This is another approach. This one is neat. Cool, thank you. Oh, questions before we move on from this one?
Which approach would you prefer to use the most?
This one, the first one, Brianna's approach. Yeah. This one is sort of hard coding. Here, the 4. This one is a little bit more dynamic. You want to be, careful though if your intention is not to unlike all the posts, right? The user who had 3 posts decides to delete his or her last post. Yes, Janesh.
What did I suggest?
Say that again.
What did I suggest?
This one?
That's the one I suggested.
The one that you suggested?
I suggested that.
No, you didn't suggest this, but your question on Slack
Oh,
brought us here. Uh-huh. Let's look at this one. The user who had 3 posts decides to delete his or her last post. Yeah, sure. Where do you could share it on the code channel? Yes.
So that works.
That worked for me.
But it didn't work.
Yeah, it worked for me. But we could look at it after. Did you put it on the new chat? Cool. Okay. So let's see Char's approach. The user who had 3 posts decides to delete his or her last post. So what he did first is delete the likes. Let's do. This is fine because then we can see a way in which we could get rid of this repetition. So he has delete. So first deletes the like, delete all the likes for that post, right? Then delete the likes they did. Oh, this step was not necessary. Yeah. Then delete their post. Then he deletes the post, and then he deletes the user. But this step was not necessary either. Yeah, we didn't want to remove the that user. We just wanted to unlike the last post. But what Chara had to do here, or do you remember why you had to delete the likes first?
Constraint.
For the constraint. This is another part of the references. So we have the likes table has a post ID column that references the post table ID column, right here. Let's look at that. The likes table has a post ID column that references the post table ID column. So let's see if we don't have this. Let's see what happens when we try to remove, not this, yeah, actually this. Let's see what happens when we try to remove something like this. So that's why Shara had to do the likes first. I'm gonna uncomment this or comment this out. Then I'm gonna run the PSQL file. So it turns out that our delete will fail. And it fails with the following message. Update or delete on the table post violates, let's run it again so that we can see the full error. Violates foreign key constraint, likes post ID F key on table likes. And it says that post with ID 4 is still referenced from the table likes. So this is another reason why you want to have references, so that if you remove something that was referencing something else, then that relationship doesn't just break. You remove all the other stuff that was connected to that as well. Yes?
Copy paste is one thing, that's okay.
Okay, no, this is fine. This error is fine because then we can look at onDelete cascade. So Shara here probably saw this error and then said, let's remove the likes first because there is still likes. There is still likes that are associated with that post. And then after that, remove the post. So in fact, if I uncomment this one, here with this, he's deleting the likes of that post. So let's try that again. Now the delete just works correctly because we removed the likes, we dereferenced, so there was no longer likes being sort of hanging. Because if we think about it, if you remove the post but don't remove the likes, then those likes are just hanging in I don't know where. But they will not be associated any longer with any post. They'll just be wasting space in your database. Posts that are likes that don't belong to any post, what are they good for? So what we could do then, so this I will say a plausible solution. But those that were sort of seeing the error that I mentioned earlier, I was suggesting to look onto something called onDelete cascade. So let's look at the error first. Again, so here, this is the table, not the database not wanting to have those likes hanging without a post they belong to. Yes?
Yeah, no, when I was trying to use it, I was confused as to where it was supposed to go. So I was like trying to put it at like the end of like the naked table.
Uh-huh.
All over the place.
So, yeah, so what we want to do is then have this constraint on the column that is referencing that, so that whenever we remove, so the database is, whenever you're removing a post, the database will check if there is anything else that is referencing that post that you're removing. if there is, like in the case when we didn't have on-delete cascade, then it's gonna throw that error saying I cannot really remove because there is something that's still referring to this thing. Now, when we have on-delete cascade on that column, what that is instructing the database to do is when something is removed and something else, in this case the post, in this case the like, and something else is referencing that like, go there and remove the other stuff that was referencing. So what this will do, what the on-delete cascade ends up doing is when you remove the likes, wait. Did this remove the post? Let's see. Yeah. So I'll have to get back to you with that and with the